heavenly message revealed, God is sending 3 angels to confirm your miraculous deliverance today. In the quaint rural village of Willowbend, the drizzle painted the cobbled streets like a gentle artist. There, nestled in the heart of the village, stood a humble chapel whose steeple reached out to the heavens, a connection vividly alive in the hearts of its faithful. Inside, under the sacred archways, a devoted mother named Emily knelt with weary hands clasped, the weight of the world resting heavily upon her shoulders as she prayed fervently for her family's salvation. With her husband recently laid off, the fear of losing their home grew like a storm cloud in her heart. The children's health issues only added salt to her wounds, yet she clung to faith like a lifeline. Suddenly, breaking through her desperate thoughts, an elderly priest emerged from the shadows of the chapel. Silver-haired, glimmering in the dim light, he approached Emily with eyes filled with warmth and understanding. "Emily, God is sending 3 angels to your aid," he declared, his voice resonating with holy authority. "They will bring the miraculous deliverance your family so desperately needs." The very air shimmered around them, electrified by the promise of divine intervention. Her soul felt ignited, yet whispers of doubt crept in, echoing the skepticism of many villagers who had waited for hope yet remained disappointed. Days turned into endless nights, and as despair became a relentless companion, Emily stumbled upon an old family prayer book hidden at the back of their dusty attic. The heavy leather book opened like a portal to the past. As she read testimonies of miraculous angelic encounters from generations before, her spirit began to soar and rekindle. The flicker of faith ignited a deep, passionate flame within her, a reminder of the power of community. Inspired, she gathered her neighbors for a communal prayer meeting, filling the chapel with warmth and energy. The shared devotion painted a radiant tapestry of unity among them, pouring light into the growing shadows of their struggle. But just when hope felt tangible, disaster struck. Her young son, Jacob, succumbed to a sudden illness, his small body racked with fever. Panic erupted. The faith community rallied. Emily buried her head in her hands, heart racing with torment. In that moment of utter despair, she cried out to God, her voice echoing off the hollow chapel walls. Would this be the moment she encounters the divine? Just then, in the stillness of the night, a strange sensation consumed the room. A gentle breeze, like the whisper of wings, swept through her home. Trembling, she sensed the very presence of the angels the priest spoke of, 3 ethereal figures exuding incomprehensible love and power. Their forms flickered like candlelight, illuminating the darkness surrounding her. Emily's heart swelled with a mix of fear and awe. Doubt trembled on the edge of her faith. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Gazing into the luminescent faces of the angels, Emily felt a warmth enveloping her, an indescribable peace washing over her soul. Tears streamed down her face, unleashing a tidal wave of emotion. Could this truly be divine? Could they fulfill the promise that had begun to flicker out? As the ethereal light grew brighter, she was left hanging on the precipice of miraculous hope, bracing for the outcome that could change everything. The spirit of the village buzzed with potential, and she knew that whatever happened next, this extraordinary journey of faith and community would lead to something utterly transformative. A soft, radiant glow enveloped the chapel, as if heaven had opened its arms to embrace the weary souls seeking solace. The walls whispered ancient hymns, resonating with the vigor of a long-buried hope. Emily stood motionless, breath hitching, heart racing. The 3 angels hovered before her, wings glimmering like spun gold, their presence a melody that echoed deep within. Then 1 angel stepped forward, eyes like pools of liquid sunlight. "Fear not, beloved," it spoke, voice gentle yet powerful, wrapping around Emily like a warm blanket. "We are here to bring you the light of hope and healing." Emily felt the weight of despair begin to lift. Like a flower turning to the sun, her spirit reached out, craving that divine warmth. Her heart, previously shrouded in doubts, began to beat in rhythm with the promises whispered throughout her family's history. In the midst of the celestial encounter, a memory flickered in her mind, a cherished moment shared with her son. They were in the garden, she teaching him how to nurture the seedlings, both crawling in the dirt, laughter mingling with the scents of blooming flowers. "Mom, God listens to our prayers," Jacob had said, his innocent faith pure and untainted. "He loves us." Tears moistened her cheeks again as she realized how often her own faith had been overshadowed by trials and fears. "God, if you can heal Jacob," Emily's voice trembled as she spoke, heavy with emotion, "I am ready to believe again." As if responding to her heart's cry, the angels encircled her, their light intensifying. The warmth radiated deeper now, a current of divine love seeping into her very being. The air filled with an aroma reminiscent of blooming jasmine. It was comforting and familiar, a reminder of simpler times when joy danced freely in her household. The 2nd angel, green-hued, rose gracefully into the air. "You have gathered many in prayer," it proclaimed with a voice like a soothing balm, "and your faith has awakened a very special response." With outstretched hands, it pointed towards the distant hills where the sun began to rise, casting a golden hue upon the land. "Your community's love and support will be the foundation upon which your miracle rests." Concrete paths of healing unfurled before her mind's eye, blanketed with the earnest hopes of those who rally together. Emily felt rejuvenated, the weight in her chest lifted. "We can do this together," she whispered, feeling the collective strength of her village within her, buoying her spirits. Suddenly, the 3rd angel descended slowly, its love-infused voice resonating within Emily's heart. "Trust not only in what you can see, but in the faith that has brought you this far. Miracles await those who believe wholeheartedly." She trembled at the sight and the profound promise embedded in those words. The chapel filled with a renewed spirit, inhabitants of Willowbend gathering closer, unaware of the momentous energy swirling around them all. Each soul, gathered here in expectation of healing and hope, was connected by an invisible thread woven with love and prayer. Emily inhaled deeply, conviction swelling in her chest. This was the moment she had prayed for. Joy mingled with anticipation. The miraculous intercession of God was not merely an echo through empty halls, but an undeniable presence in their lives. But right then, a sudden commotion broke the stillness of the village outside. Shouts of alarm reached her ears. Worry weaved through the gathering crowd. Emily's heart raced again, and she felt the air change, thickening with concern and uncertainty. What challenges lay ahead? Would their collective faith stand firm amidst rising storms? As the echoing voices of her neighbors spilled into the sacred space, the fragile balance of hope hung on the edge of what they were about to face. With a prayer lingering on her lips and a heart resolute, Emily turned toward the door, ready to embrace whatever came next. As Emily stepped toward the door, the air thick with worry, a wave of resolve swept over her. The distant shouts grew sharper, tinged with urgency, pulling the congregation from their quiet reverie. Murmurs and gasps filled the chapel, hearts pounding in sync with the rising panic outside. Emily could feel the pull of the community's faith, a palpable force woven from shared hopes and fears. "Stay together," she called, voice rising above the din. "Hold on to your faith. We mustn't let fear dictate our hearts." The sound of her own words reassured her, grounding her in purpose. The angels glided beside her, their radiant presence an unwavering beacon. The first angel whispered, "Love unites. Let it guide you in this moment." With a steadying breath, Emily pushed open the chapel doors. The light of the sun shone brightly, contrasting with the darkening clouds that loomed over Willowbend. She could see her neighbors gathered anxiously in clusters, expressions of worry etched on their faces. "What is happening?" she implored, eyes scanning. The crowd. Old Mrs. Dawson, shaking, stepped forward. "Emily, there's been an accident at the hill. Jacob!" Her voice faltered, fear threatening to steal her words. "Where is Jacob?" Emily's heart lurched as she felt the world tilt beneath her feet. "We must go. We have to help him." The whispers grew louder as people shared fragments of the unfolding crisis. An overturned vehicle, emergency services were en route, but the initial news was grim. As the reality of the situation clashed with her swirling emotions, Emily felt a tremor of doubt creep back into her heart. Was her faith enough? The angels around her shimmered, and the second angel's voice wrapped around her once more. In moments of despair, love has the power to achieve the unimaginable. Shaky hands clenched into fists, she called out, "Let's pray together." Instinctively, people started to form a circle, drawing closer. Emily stood at the center, bolstered by the presence of the three angels who felt like an extension of her own heart. She closed her eyes, reaching deep within for that pure thread of faith Jacob had ignited in her so long ago. "Dear God," she began, her voice gathering courage, "we are here, united in love. We trust in your mercy. Please protect Jacob and guide the hands of those who can help him." As she spoke, she could feel an undercurrent of warmth touch each soul gathered around her. The very air vibrated with their collective faith, a radiant force of hope rising like smoke from an offering. One by one, her neighbors joined in, their voices rising and mingling, creating a chorus of prayers that reached out like hands clasped in unity. Emily felt their hearts beat as one, a living testament of love that pierced the clouds of doubt, banishing the darkness that threatened to consume them. In the midst of the prayers, the third angel descended gently, glimmering softly. "Beloved," it declared, "your faith is a beacon. God hears your cries, and miracles do await those who believe." With each uttered prayer, the atmosphere thickened with divine assurance. Emily's heart expanded as warmth seeped into her spirit. Her son was out there, and so was God's presence, enveloping him in light. Then suddenly, a shout broke through the prayer. "Look!" An arm pointed toward the path leading down the hill. A flicker of movement cut through the distance, a figure emerging through the gathering fog. Was it Jacob? Was this the moment they had waited for? Chills danced along Emily's arms. The crowd stirred restlessly, all eyes glued to the approaching figure, hope swaying like a delicate bird caught between the branches. Who was coming toward them? With breath held tight in her chest, she leaned forward, heart pounding, ready to meet whatever revelation awaited them just beyond the shadows. What would be revealed on this day of reckoning? Would love and faith intertwine into a miraculous tapestry of healing? The figure drew closer, and with each step, the air pulsed with the community's anticipation. Heartbeats quickened, breaths were held. Who could it be striding out of the veil of fog? Emily squinted, willing the world to sharpen, her soul a mix of dread and hope. Then, just as the figure emerged into the daylight, a collective gasp echoed through the crowd. It was Jacob! Emily's legs nearly buckled beneath her, a rush of relief washing over her. "Jacob!" she cried, a voice wavering with both joy and fear. As he staggered closer, they could see the marks of exhaustion etched onto his face. His clothes were dirt-streaked, and he bore a look of disarray. But he was alive. He was here. The crowd erupted in cheers, a symphony of joy rising to the sky. Tears streamed down Emily's cheeks, mingling with the warmth of the sun. She rushed toward him, arms outstretched, and enveloped him tightly. In that instant, a wave of love passed between them, a connection laced with gratitude. "I was so scared, Mom," Jacob murmured, his voice hoarse but steady. "The car, it rolled, but I managed to climb out just in time. I thought I wouldn't make it." The weight of his words clawed at her heart, yet they were filled with the kind of faith that comes only from experiencing the fragility of life. "We prayed for you, Jacob," Emily echoed, pulling back just enough to look him in the eyes. "Your life is a miracle. God brought you back to us." The murmurs of agreement rippled around, heads nodding with fervor. The angels that surrounded Emily sparkled with divine energy, their presence amplifying the miracle of the moment. The first angel spoke. "Joy is the fruit of faith. In this world, darkness may threaten, but the light of love dispels all shadows." Emily turned to the congregation, so eager to share the beauty they had witnessed together. "Look at what love has done," she exclaimed, fervently gesturing towards Jacob. "United in faith, we have rebuked fear and embraced hope." The third angel floated nearer, its voice swirling around them like a gentle breeze. "Each life touches another, weaving a tapestry of faith that can stretch across the heavens. Remember that your prayers today have witnessed the power of love." As Jacob stumbled back to the circle of family and friends, they embraced him tightly, each hug a testament to the community's love. Emily had never felt such a blend of fear and hope intertwining. The fragile beauty of life was illuminated in this moment. But as joy filled Emily's heart, another thought nagged at her. What lay ahead for them? She could sense the clouds still swirling in the distance. While they celebrated Jacob's return, would more challenges come? The world had not promised safety, and her soul sensed that faith would be continuously tested. Just then, a wave of silence washed over the crowd. The second angel gestured toward the horizon. "Though you rejoice today, remember, true tests reveal the depths of faith. Your journey continues, beloveds. Embrace it with courage." Emily felt a chill. What did this foreboding message mean? And as the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across Willowbend, a figure appeared at the edge of the gathered group, uncertain yet determined. Who could it be? What new challenge awaited them on this path of light? The questions hung heavy in the air. With hearts still humming from the miracle witnessed, another revelation loomed just out of reach. The figure stepped out of the shadows, moving slowly toward the crowd. Emily squinted, struggling to recognize them. When the sunlight caught the face, her breath caught in her throat. It was Sarah, her dear friend, carrying the weight of uncertainty upon her brow, like dark clouds hinting at an approaching storm. "Sarah!" Jacob shouted, his voice laced with both surprise and worry. He took a cautious step forward, a protective instinct rising within him. The joyous facade around them shifted. The air grew heavier with expectation, uncertainty tangling among the joyful exclamations. "Is everything all right?" Emily asked, her voice tender yet firm. There was a stillness to Sarah, a calm laced with apprehension. She clasped her hands tightly, drawing everyone's attention. After a moment, Sarah finally spoke, her voice trembling but resolute. I need to share something. It's about the accident." A hushed silence fell over the gathering. The angels shimmered, their ethereal forms echoing the gravity of her words. Emily felt an electric charge in the air, a foreboding whisper tugging at her spirit. "What do you mean? Is Jacob all right?" Sarah took a deep breath, grounding herself. "When I heard about the wreck, I fell to my knees. I prayed harder than I ever have before. Then I saw something, a vision. It was a great light, and in that light were 3 angels. They spoke to me. They said, 'Fear not, for your prayers have reached heaven. A miracle is on its way.'" Disbelief flickered through the crowd, mixed with an undercurrent of hope. Hearts swelled, but whispered doubts lingered. Could it be true? Had Sarah truly been given such a heavenly message? The first angel, who had been silently accompanying Jacob and Emily, floated down to Sarah, its wings glowing with radiant warmth. "You have spoken the truth. The fabric of faith is woven through every heart in this community." Jessica's song soared to heaven, and the prayers, like letters carried by the wind, begging for mercy, have been answered. A roar of enthusiasm erupted from the gathered souls as they realized the angels' tangible presence and the weight of what they might mean. Yet also present was a palpable tension, a shift that ran like rippling water beneath their joyous surface. "What do we do now?" Emily wondered aloud, a stirring of faith battling her instinct to yield to fear. "How do we prepare for this miracle?" The second angel turned towards Emily, its presence igniting courage.
"Faith is not merely belief. It is action. Speak to the hearts around you. Engage with love. Share your gifts and stand firm against doubt. This is not the end of your tribulations. Rather, it is a beginning. Miracles often come hand in hand with trials." Emily felt the weight lift slightly as unity gathered around her. They were not alone. They were bound by faith and love, a network of souls ready to face whatever lay ahead. As they embraced that promise, a chorus of voices arose, joining in uplifted prayer, heartfelt and rallying. They called upon the heavens together, chanting a hymn of hope, warriors against fear. Suddenly, a gust of wind whipped through the crowd. Leaves danced in a swirl of divine energy. The sky above them darkened for a brief moment, threatening to rain, yet they stood strong, unyielding. As the clouds formed a tapestry, the third angel's voice rose above, thunderous yet gentle. "Your journey deepens. Will you trust? Will you recognize the signs displayed before you? Change is unfolding. Courage will be your ally." In that swirling chaos, a new figure emerged at the periphery of the crowd, drawing closer, yet shrouded in the mist. Who were they? What did their arrival signify? Emily's heart raced, her spirit heightened, knowing they were on the edge of revelation once more. There lay something divine, waiting just beyond their collective understanding. As the mysterious figure approached the crowd, an unmistakable aura of divine energy surrounded them. The others drew back, forming a circle of anticipation, their gazes fixed on the stranger. Emily felt her heart thud heavily in her chest, a mix of fear and eagerness surging within her. The newcomer stepped into the light, revealing a face both familiar and enigmatic. It was a woman, her eyes shimmering with a depth of wisdom and understanding. A halo seemed to glow faintly above her head, illuminating the area around her with a soft, sacred light. "Greetings, my beloved ones," she said, her voice resonating like music, calming yet filled with authority. "I am Ilara, and I bring you a message of hope." A hush fell over the gathering. The air thickened with something electric. It was as if heaven's breath hovered around them, urging their spirits to listen closely. Emily felt an unfamiliar warmth flood her soul, a tenderness that was both comforting and invigorating. Your faith has ignited a spark of divine action, Ilara continued, raising her arms gracefully. The angels you have seen are not mere relics of a distant past, but active participants in your story, a story of trials that soon will lead you into a season of miraculous transformations. Emily shared a glance with Jacob, who stood nearby, his expression a blend of awe and curiosity. She sensed the questions swirling within him, just as they churned in her own mind. What kinds of transformations, she thought, her spirit aching for clarity. Have you not felt the ripples of change?
In your lives? Ilara asked, her gaze sweeping across the crowd. Do you not see the paths converging before you, shaped by your prayers, your faith, and your unyielding spirit? A murmur of recognition spread among them. Each face was alight with the flickering embers of realization. Each one of them had felt the stirring in their hearts, the calls to action that echoed deep within. Great trials reshape our understanding of love and resilience, Ilara intoned. But do not fear the storms that rage. Embrace them. They are the very furnace in which you will be transformed into vessels of hope. Emily's spirit soared as warmth flooded her heart. She envisioned herself, alongside the others, embracing the challenges that lay ahead. There was a powerful beauty in surrendering to the divine plan, an exhilarating freedom in letting go of fear. And yet, Ilara paused, casting her gaze skyward as if seeking guidance. You must know that your actions are critical now. Take the first step, engage with one another, share your burdens, and set your feet upon the path of divine purpose. Your courage will light the way. The crowd seemed to take a collective breath, their hearts synchronizing in rhythm as they absorbed her words. Hope blossomed within them, vibrant and alive. As whispers of agreement echoed, wisps of mist began to swirl around Ilara, enveloping her like a beloved shroud. Seek understanding, my children. Her eyes sparkled with a mysterious depth. For even now, as you yearn for signs, heaven's arms stretch out to embrace you. The answers lie close, but only when you open your hearts fully and unreservedly. Be vigilant. With that, she began to dissolve into the air, her parting words hanging like stars in the twilight. What you seek is not far. It's woven into the very fabric of your journey. Watch for the miracles that come in unexpected forms. Trust and do not waver. Emily longed to grasp Ilara's fading form, to hold on to the graces she had imparted. But before she could call out, the mist had thickened, leaving only the chorus of rustling leaves in its wake. Did you feel that? Jacob breathed, still mesmerized by the encounter. The crowd swelled with excitement as they buzzed with the remnants of hope igniting inside them. But what does it all mean? Someone whispered uncertainly. As they stood listening, a chill of anticipation swept through the gathering. The shadows danced, and the air thrummed with a promise. Unknown to them, the answers they sought were stirring just beyond the veil, preparing to unfold. Could what they desired truly be on the cusp of manifestation? And were the signs evident if they chose to seek them with open hearts? Emily felt a surge of possibility vibrate through her. The whispers of the crowd began to blend into a singular hum of excitement, an echo of hope swelling in harmony with her own racing heart. Jacob turned to her, his eyes wide with a mix of questions and belief. "What do you think she meant by the storms?" he asked, his voice intimate, yet filled with the weightiness of the moment. "I think," Emily began, searching for the words that danced just beyond her grasp. "I think we're being called to embrace our struggles, to see them as part of something greater. Maybe this is the beginning of something beautiful." The crowd stirred, their murmurs growing louder as the realization dawned upon them. They formed small clusters, sharing thoughts and fears, speaking about the challenges that had weighed heavily on their hearts and minds. "Emily," Jacob called, pulling her closer to the center of an impromptu gathering. "Let's share what's troubling us. If we're to support one another, it seems right to be open." With a nod, Emily felt a tremor of excitement. They began to share, one by one, their struggles illuminated under the weight of Ilara's message. Each revelation opened the door to deeper compassion. Every burden shared reshaped the fabric of their connection. "Emily," Jacob called, pulling her closer to the center of an impromptu gathering. "Let's share what's troubling us. If we're to support one another, it seems right to be open." With a nod, Emily felt a tremor of excitement. They began to share, one by one, their struggles illuminated under the weight of Ilara's message. Each revelation opened the door to deeper compassion. Every burden shared reshaped the fabric of their connection. As Emily listened, words flowed from her lips as well. "I've been afraid of losing my way, of not living up to what God wants from me," she confessed, her voice thick with emotion. "But today, I feel something shifting. Maybe these storms aren't meant to destroy us. They're here to refine us." The group murmured in agreement, hearts knitting together as vulnerability blossomed. The air around them felt charged, as if God's presence was pulsating with assurance. Suddenly, a low rumble of thunder rolled through the sky, a stark reminder of the storms they spoke of. The sound reverberated in their chests, a divine echo urging them onwards. "Do you feel that?" Jacob whispered, his eyes sparkling in the low light. "It's as if creation itself acknowledges our gathering." "Indeed," another voice chimed in. "It feels like a sign. If we are to face storms, we should do it together, united and strong." As they spoke, it struck Emily that faith never existed in isolation. It was woven through the fabric of shared experiences, infused with the sacred act of leaning on one another. Just then, a soft glow began to break through the clouds overhead. Hope flickered anew amongst them as luminous rays pierced the darkness. "Look," she exclaimed, pointing upwards, "the light, it's shifting." The crowd gasped, their faces painted with awe. For there, amidst the rolling clouds, the silhouettes of 3 winged figures began to materialize. The angels did not simply appear. They danced upon the wind like whispers of joy, moving gracefully as if part of the very breath of life. "I can't believe what I'm seeing," Jacob murmured, captivated by the celestial scene. As the figures glided closer, a profound silence enveloped them all. Emily felt a swell of gratitude wash over her. Her heart raced as every fiber of her being yearned to know what message these heavenly beings carried. "What if they're here to affirm Ilara's words?" someone whispered, the weight of their hope vibrant in the air. Could it be possible? Would their moment of divine confirmation arrive just as they had come together in trust and vulnerability? As the angels drew nearer, a heaviness of expectation settled upon them. The crowd barely breathed, waiting with bated anticipation. But what would these divine beings bring forth? What truth lay hidden within the sacred meeting of heaven and earth? The answers loomed just out of reach, waiting for the moment that would change everything. What message would break the silence and guide them further along their journey? The air shimmered with enchantment, crackling like static before a summer storm. Emily's heart thundered in her chest as the angels drew closer, each movement radiating peace. She could hardly comprehend the wonder before her, an echo of prayers spoken in faith, now manifesting in an awe-inspiring moment. The crowd collectively held its breath as the first angel descended, shimmering with a purity that transcended earthly beauty. It reached out, extending a hand, radiant light bursting forth. The warmth enveloped Emily, wrapping her in a soothing embrace, as if the celestial being was inviting her to step into a deeper understanding of divine love. "Fear not," the angel's voice resounded, gentle yet powerful. "You are cherished beyond measure. The storms you face are but a passage, a way of drawing you closer to the heart of your Creator." Tears sprang unbidden to Emily's eyes. The truth in those words stirred something deep within her. Encircled by a community of seekers, she felt the weight of their collective struggles dissolve momentarily in the luminous presence of the holy messengers. Each of them wrestled with their own storms. Together, they held each other in this sacred space. Another angel floated forward, its wings creating a mesmerizing cascade of light, each feathery touch carrying a promise of hope. "Rise above your doubts," came its tender whisper. "Each struggle you endure is not in vain. They build faith that strengthens like steel forged in fire." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the gathering. Emily glanced at Jacob beside her, his eyes glistening with wonder. He was absorbing the message, letting it seep into his spirit. They all needed to hear it, to understand that the trials they encountered would be overcome, not alone, but anointed together. The third angel spiraled above them, circling gracefully before coming to rest. Its inverted posture as it landed on the ground held a sense of reverence as it spoke. "God has not forgotten you. Love is intrinsic to your essence, woven into your being. Through every storm, you are being shaped, transformed. Embrace it. Trust in the process." Emily felt the weight of those words settle into her soul, shifting something profound within her. Could she truly believe that her trials were divinely orchestrated pathways leading her home? Around her, the community resonated with an unspoken agreement, hearts stirring toward hope and realization. They were met not with mere ethereal beings, but with tangible evidence of divine intervention, a reminder that heaven watched over them, caring deeply for their every struggle. Suddenly, with grace, the angels lifted into the air. Flashes of light erupted around them, encircling the crowd in a protective warmth. As they ascended, Emily noticed something, the hint of gold dust sparkling in the air, nostalgic remnants of divine glory surrounding them. Gasps erupted as everyone reached out for the shimmering blessings. It felt as if they could capture the divine moment, sealing it within their hearts for the days ahead. "And what if," Jacob voiced softly, breaking the silence, "these messages mean we're called to be angels for one another?" The thought lingered, echoing through Emily's mind. Could they commit to supporting each other, to embodying this heavenly assurance in their lives? As the last whisper of the angels faded into the distance, a question remained. What would they do now with the message they had received? Determined faces turned toward Emily and Jacob, a new understanding establishing root. Faith could flourish in community. Hope would bind their hearts. And as a gentle breeze stirred the air, it brushed against Emily's cheeks, suggesting that perhaps another revelation awaited them. What next step was God calling them to take in this vibrant journey of faith? Emily stood at the center of the gathering, her heart aflame with a new sense of purpose. The golden dust still hung in the air, dancing gracefully as if it bore secrets yet untold. She felt a stirring, an awakening within her spirit, and it spread to those around her, resonating like a shared heartbeat. "Look around," she urged, her voice steady but bright with excitement. "This moment isn't just for us, it's a calling for everyone." Her words hung in the air, igniting curiosity. Faces turned toward her, eyes wide with anticipation. Jacob stepped forward, mirroring her enthusiasm. "What if these angels intend for us to become their messengers? What if our trials are what prepare us to carry this heavenly love to others in need?" There was a ripple of murmurs in agreement, and a wave of inspiration washed over the crowd. In that sacred moment, the community transformed. No longer were they just a group of individuals burdened by personal storms. They were a collective force, a mosaic of faith forged in adversity. each person's struggles intertwined, creating a tapestry of shared experiences, ready to reach out and lift others. Let us not forget what we've experienced today, Emily continued, her voice stronger now. We are called to be a beacon of hope, to embody those very messages delivered by the angels. We may not have wings, but we have love, and that is our most potent gift. As she spoke, the sun began to break through the clouds, beams of light spilling down like liquid gold. It warmed their faces, a physical affirmation of the divine presence that had touched them so profoundly. Imagine if we formed a circle of support, Emily proposed, her imagination igniting new possibilities. What if we met each week to pray for one another, share our burdens, and celebrate our victories together? Excitement sparked around her, nods and whispers of agreement bubbling like a joyful stream. The thought of unity filled the air with vibrancy. It seemed the angels' arrival was not just a moment, it was the beginning of something far greater. A light shone within their hearts as they envisioned gatherings filled with prayer, laughter, and shared joys, a haven for the weary and wondrous. As the crowd dispersed, ready to take the next steps, Emily felt a gentle touch on her shoulder. It was Jacob, his eyes reflecting a newfound determination. "I believe we're on the brink of something amazing," he said softly. "Heaven's poured out blessings, and we can't simply hold on to them. Together, we need to spread this love." Her heart swelled at his words. This was no longer just about personal deliverance. It was about collective transformation. Could they really anchor their faith in community? With every heart embracing the call, they were bound to witness miracles unfolding. Questions lingered over their heads like clouds filled with potential rain. What would their first steps look like? Would others join them in this mission of outreach? With the sun shining steadily now, casting beautiful shadows of unity on the ground, the answer burned just beneath the surface of their hearts. They had to step into action. The journey awaited them. Each drop of faith could trigger a ripple effect of transformation. After all, if God's angels could reach them, then surely His love could flow through them. What stories would they share? What lives would be changed? And as they ventured forth, steps light with purpose, a sacred air of anticipation filled their spirits. What was next in this divine unfolding? The days that followed were the beginning of a beautiful transformation in Willowbend. Emily, alongside Jacob and the other villagers, met weekly to pray, share burdens, and celebrate life. Each gathering was filled with laughter, stories, and a deeper connection to one another. It became a refuge, a wellspring of love that nurtured their spirits. The chapel, once just a simple building, now pulsed with the vibrant energy of faith. Every prayer echoed with purpose. The angel's message had ignited a fire within them, a call to action that nobody wanted to ignore. They learned to be each other's angels, lifting hearts and nourishing dreams. As weeks rolled on, Emily and Jacob began to reach out beyond their community. They organized moments of service, seeking to bring light to those who had not felt hope in too long. They cooked meals for the elderly, picked up groceries for those who couldn't, and cared for children while parents worked late. Each small act of kindness rippled through their community, sparking unity like wildfire. One afternoon, under the shade of an ancient oak tree, Emily sat with Jacob, their laughter filling the air as they watched their children play. "I never imagined we'd be so connected," she said, her heart brimming with gratitude. "I was lost before the angels came. Now it feels like we're part of a bigger story, a tapestry woven by God." Jacob nodded, his expression thoughtful. "I feel it too, Mom. It's like each of us is now a thread in this beautiful fabric, each one essential." His words hung thoughtfully between them, resonating with a truth too profound to ignore. They shared a silent understanding that they were not just benefiting from love, they were becoming instruments of it. As Emily dug deeper into that community life, she also noticed a change in herself. The storms she once feared became shades of hope. She learned from every trial, taking each moment as a lesson, knowing they were shaping her into the woman God intended her to be. But one late evening, as the sun disappeared and shadows stretched long, an unsettling stillness fell over the chapel. The air turned heavy, as if thick with foreboding. Emily felt the whisper of the angels, a reminder that life was a series of seasons, and each would carry its own set of challenges. Just as peace settled over her heart, the door swung open. In walked Sarah, her face pale, worry etched into her brow. "Emily, there's news," she said urgently, her voice trembling. "What is it?" Emily asked, her stomach rolling with apprehension. "There was an accident on the highway. Our neighbor, Mr. Thompson, he's been taken to the hospital. They say it was serious." Panic surged through the gathered crowd. Whispers fluttered through the air like dried leaves. How could they be facing another storm when they had just celebrated so many victories? Emily stepped forward, heart racing. "We need to pray for Mr. Thompson," she shouted. Fear crowded the room, but faith took root in that moment. She clasped her hands together, grounding herself, and called upon the strength of the angels they had encountered so many times before. They formed a circle, and prayer filled the chapel, fervent cries rising like incense to the heavens. As they prayed, Emily felt a familiar warmth embrace her heart. She could almost see the angels swirling around them, carrying their whispers of hope to God's ears. Suddenly, a soft glow broke through the window, golden light flooding the space, illuminating their joined hands. Emily sensed that divine presence, the reminder that they were never alone, regardless of how stormy the days ahead could become. After what felt like an eternity, a gentle hush fell over the congregation. The unexpected glow faded, and silence filled the air, weighted with both hope and uncertainty. Then, a familiar voice broke the stillness at the door. It was Mr. Thompson, standing tall, a bit frazzled but undoubtedly alive. The crowd erupted in cheers, overwhelmed with relief. The power of faith, affection, community had seen them through yet another trial. As they celebrated, tears of joy streamed down Emily's face. In that moment, surrounded by love and support, she understood her purpose. They were all being called to love fiercely, to navigate the storms together, and to create a legacy of faith. Hand in hand, they joined together once more, their voices rising into the evening air, an unshakable bond forged in love. And as they sang, the whispers of promise echoed in their hearts. The trial had passed, and in its wake, they stood stronger, a united community ready to embrace whatever came next. This was a new chapter in their lives, woven intricately with the threads of adversity and compassion. But above all, it was a testament to the miraculous love of God. Willowbend had become a beacon, a village transformed by faith, inviting everyone to witness the power of divine intervention and the beauty of community. And with their hearts ablaze, they knew that their story was only just beginning. You need to subscribe now to our channel so you don't miss the next exclusive faith stories that will uplift and inspire you. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share this testimony with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation in action. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread the message. And comment below with your reactions or testimonies about this beautiful ending. We want to hear from you, dear brothers and sisters in faith.